they've started talking about cloud seeding
Yep.
openly.
Yep.
And this is something that people did not even know before, and they have admitted to this.
Yeah, what the difference between a contrail and a chemtrail is. And a contrail is normal, engine from the heat of the engine in the cold, because when you're up higher, the temperatures drop. And, they should only last a certain distance behind the plane, where a chemtrail hangs out and stays.
The day after, this is what happens. You wake up to this.
This is something they've been doing for years. And a lot of people who look at the mainstream media may have missed it, but they've come out and said that they do cloud seeding. This is one way to change the weather and bring about more rain and so on. So it is possible to use airplanes to change the weather. I
Yeah.
lived out in the Middle East for quite a number of years, and that was the first time I was introduced to that. They would always tell us when there was cloud seeding, and we would always have some really bad weather, and they would tell you it was cloud seeding. And once it gets into your air, it gets into your food, it gets into your water, it gets into your
Gets
body.
into the soil, the plants,
Hmm.
you think you're buying organic and
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our channel called the Three of Pentacles. We are the Three of Pentacles. We are three tarot card readers, and we focus on news and world events. We also do personal readings and energy healings, and our contact information is down below. And we won't reach out to you all. So if you need our services, you reach out directly to us. Watch out for those scammers out there. But before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to my lovely intuitive sisters of the woo, Kaila and Lynn.
hi everybody.
Excuse me, Kaila and Lynn, and my name is Barbara.
Yay.
And what we do is for entertainment purposes only, but not always, I like to say. And in this video, we are going to be tackling a kind of controversial subject. So
Which it shouldn't be, but
Hmm.
it shouldn't be. Let me just say this. Sometimes when you look up in the sky, you'll see a blue sky. And sometimes you look up into the blue sky and you'll see white lines in the sky. Okay, I'll say that. I don't know if we can say the word chemtrails on YouTube. If you ever look up in the sky and you see these things. So we're going to take a look. We all personally have noticed it. We
yeah.
know a lot of people that have not noticed it though. They haven't noticed it. Even if you tell them to look up and ask, what type of cloud is that?
Yep.
And they say, oh, what's that in the sky? They say, oh, that's a cloud. But I don't know if it's true, but I hear that God doesn't really make super linear things, or maybe he does. But
Well, there's crazy clouds and people are giving them all kinds of names nowadays, and I'm like, this clouds never existed when I was a kid. Come on.
Exactly.
and you see some of those little children's books right now, and you see the little cartoons, and they're drawing them in the cartoons and the books and the comics and those type of things. So we're gonna talk about some. We're gonna see some pictures that I personally took myself, some before and after, because you can almost predict it. That whenever you see certain types of lines and tic-tac-toes in the sky,
Yeah.
you can almost predict it. You don't need a tarot card reader to figure that one out.
Hmm.
But you can almost predict that the day after it's going to be cloudy, or if it's going to be gray and not necessarily rain.
And Barbara, I've not even seen the day after. It seems to be even like a couple hours after sometimes.
Even a couple hours after. So we just want to get you to thinking and kind of looking up and asking questions and coming down and commenting. So the next time you do see something like this, well, if you're not really familiar with what we're saying, we're going to show you some images. And whenever you do see these images, come back to this video and comment down below and let us know where you are and what type of images you've seen. All right, so I think we have some
We're going to
pictures
start
of a
just to
video.
show everybody, what the difference between a contrail and a chemtrail is. And a contrail is normal, engine from the heat of the engine in the cold, because when you're up higher, the temperatures drop. And, they should only last a certain distance behind the plane, where a chemtrail hangs out and stays. So can you girls see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
You can clearly see how this trail is evaporating quickly. And then this long line here is staying. And this is what's going to spread.
Yeah. So basically, what you're seeing is two different planes going in two different directions.
Yep.
One is letting out regular steam that fizzles out
Yep.
and dissolves, and the other one's letting out steam that stays there and stays
Yep.
for miles and miles and miles. So what happens is that whenever the one that stays for miles and miles and miles, it disperses, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it starts kind of covering the sky up. And unfortunately, there's certain toxins and chemicals and things that are in it that come down and on top of our crops, on top of our cars. This here, I took this personally myself
Saturn.
on a Saturday. Yeah,
Yep.
like this Saturday night. I took this. The skies were blue, actually. I wanted to show the other ones from the days before when the skies were blue.
Did you give me those?
Yeah,
Are those at the end? Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Those are the ones that was. So I just wanted to, yeah, in Florida it's usually really nice and sunny, usually, nice blue skies and sun and everything. So this started like on Thursday. So they started on Thursday. And then there's another one from the same day. So you can see that tic-tac-toe there. And so Friday was kind of like, it was kind of, and so the day after, this is what happens. You wake up to this. So you have a blue sky the day before with tic-tac-toe lines in it, like I took on Saturday, and then you wake up to this. And I almost predicted it. Well, I actually did predict it, like I said. When you see that happening, usually the day after, it's going to be nice and cloudy and not necessarily any rain. So I took that the night before. The day after, it was all gray and covered. So, if you see this happening, talk about it to your friends, talk about it to your coworkers, talk about it to people at your church. Just kind of open up your eyes. We're not saying that you have to march down to the square with your torches and everything like that, but we're just saying, open your eyes and take a look and start noticing things. That's what we're here for. Just if you want to notice it.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Just in case some people missed it, I think this topic became quite hot in the last maybe year or two, because they've started talking about cloud seeding openly. And
Yep.
this is something that people did not even know before, and they have admitted to this. And so this is something they've been doing for years. And a lot of people who look at the mainstream media may have missed it, but they've come out and said that they do cloud seeding. This is one way to change the weather and bring about more rain and so on. So it is possible to use airplanes to change the weather. So I'm just going to leave that there.
Well, and they've come out with that because in the Middle East, all the flooding, and they were
Exactly.
admitting to. You lived out there, and didn't they?
I lived out in the Middle East for quite a number of years, and that was the first time I was introduced to that. They would always tell us when there was cloud seeding, and we would always have some really bad weather at that point in time, and they would tell you it was cloud seeding anytime there was flooding or something like that. So
Yeah.
it happens.
And I remember back in the day when they first started with these little small planes, and they used to fly around and they used to write words and names and hearts and everything, and everybody in the neighborhood would be out there and say, "Oh, that's a heart. Oh, what is he doing? Oh, he's forming a word, and now, oh, that's a T." And so that would last for hours. Actually, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't go away.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I saw these things in the sky was in Orlando. I believe it was the first time I noticed it, let's just say. I believe it was back in 2011 or something. It was these tic-tac-toes across the sky. And we also did a video, and it showed the cloud seeding that you were talking about, Kaila, in the video. And that was from 1953, I believe.
Right.
So they were showing how they
Oh yeah,
see
the
the
video
clouds.
we
So,
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
so we just want to invite everyone to keep their head up and look and see what's up above your head. Did we
So-
want to pull anything on it, or did you
Yeah,
want to add
let's
something?
pull Kaila or you, Barbara. We want to pull and do and see like what the percentages are they still, are they still harmful chemicals in these? Because I know Janine has pulled on it before where she thought most of them were the white hats, but in some areas it's still going to be the bad stuff. So
I think so because, you know, I woke up congested. I can only imagine what's in those trails
Right?
that they're spraying up there, man. I'm telling you. I think it's something good that makes people happy and puts them in a good mood, right?
Chemtrails?
Yeah, it
We
has to be
would
something
like
really
it.
nice, right?
We would love for it to
Because
be that
what
way,
else
but
could it be, right?
who knows what it is? Because once it gets into your air, it gets into your food, it gets into your water, it gets into your
Gets
body.
into the soil, the plants,
Hmm.
you think you're buying organic and well, maybe not so much. I was looking for my friend's post again where she had posted all the patents for all the weather manipulation and chemtrails and everything
Yeah,
else.
I
So, but
saw that.
I couldn't find it.
So my question was, are the bad guys still doing the chemtrails, and to what extent? So are they still using chemtrails for bad intentions, and to what extent?
Looks like they're trying to wake everybody up with it right now, doesn't it? Like the good guys have got it, but they're trying to wake everybody up.
We do have some good cards here.
Yeah.
With the Emperor, we have the star in the background. So the star is about healing. We have two cards of sort of victory cards. We have the Six of Wands, and below the deck we have the Four of Wands. And we do have the Magician in the middle. So in the atmosphere, what it looks like, there's a little bit of trickery. Something is still happening.
Hmm.
We have the Death card and Judgment. So we have a slow transition or transformation with the Death card. And Judgment is the wake-up call, as Lynn said, yes.
What would you say about the Hermit and the Nine of Pentacles?
Shining a light on what's been happening. So I think they're drawing attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like the White Hats have taken over. True, right?
Really does. It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that, the baddies can't get a little bit. Kyla, you want to throw two more
Mm-hmm.
clarifiers and see if we can get a percentage
Mm-hmm.
on the chemtrails that are going out, or the good or bad or whatever?
So we have the Ten of Wands, the Seven of Cups. So it's the first card that came out. So they're at their end. They're still trying, I think. They're still trying to push through.
Yeah.
We have the Nine of Swords with the Seven of Cups.
Maybe
So there is some
70%.
worry. There's still some things happening, bad things happening, but it seems like they're at their end.
Yeah.
Maybe
I, I, I've,
70% with the seven.
I've kind of noticed that the chemtrails that just went over my house earlier today and like a couple of days ago, it was almost as if they didn't have enough steam for a full line. It was like almost scattered, and you don't usually see that. It's usually just a solid streak. So,
I remember in Canada about 2 or 3 years ago, as I was saying before, I would see a clear sky, not a cloud.
yeah,
Then they would do the chemtrails, and then within, I would tell you, 2, 3 hours,
yeah,
it's not
can
even
be
overnight,
sometimes.
the
Yeah,
entire sky would be clouded over.
yeah.
There's no rain, as Barbara said, right?
Mm.
It's just cloudy. And then in the last, I would say, year or maybe year and a half, I
Mhm.
noticed it has decreased a little bit. Like it's not as often, but I do see it.
It's
I
funny
noticed it
because
too.
I never really noticed them over my house until the last 5 years. Really, honestly, I didn't, because I'm always looking up in the sky and I never noticed them. Yes, I became more aware of them within the last 5 years as well, but I think it's almost been the last 3 years. It's almost like between Richmond and DC, we're getting pummeled with it.
Yeah. I noticed that they're spraying more in some places than others. But I've been
Yeah.
noticing on social media with the people that I'm friends with on social media, when they post pictures outside or on vacation, I see a lot of blue skies now.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because you go back and you'll see some, and then all of a sudden you'll see that one lone chemtrail through certain pictures, and you go, "Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing a lot of beautiful blue skies. It's absolutely amazing to see.
yeah." Okay, so the one more thing I think on chemtrails while we're at it, Cliff High posted this one the other day on his X account. Will officialdom declare attacks on chemtrail pilots and companies as domestic terrorism this fall? And when he was talking to JC last night, Sunday night, he said that there are groups already ready to take it into their own hands if the government doesn't cease the chemtrails now. They're planning on going after them. So I'd like to know, are we going to have vigilantism basically taking care of the pilots and these companies that have been spraying all these chemtrails?
So we're going to ask,
Okay.
is there truth and integrity to what Cliff High is saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if it were like that, where would they know how to find them? I mean, just
Oh,
they
well,
go to
look, here you go.
local.
Evergreen Aviation admits to chemtrail contracts with USAF. That was February 23rd, 2013. Look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
I want to show, look at this. Clouds as an adult, clouds as a child. See, this is what we were talking about earlier, Barbara.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. And then I love this one. This says it all about the chemtrail.
Ooh,
This is perfect.
that was scary. Well, that's what it represents because all that stuff that's in it. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
come on now.
Well, you know, the old poison signs used to be a skull with
A skull, right?
bones, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't it be? Not all skulls are bad. You know,
Yep.
No.
I do have my friends.
And what good friends you have.
Yes, I do. Along with my beautiful soul sisters.
Yes, ma'am. Is there truth and integrity to what Uncle Cliff was saying?
I think there's been videos on TikTok and everything else out there with people confronting these pilots. Why are you spraying this? And they're like, hey, it's not up to me. I'm just told to fly the plane. It's like, that's just not going to cut it.
No, no, no. He's just as responsible. So what I get with Uncle Cliff is that's a soft yes.
Yep.
With the Page of Pentacles, that's a soft yes coming up.
Yep.
What I feel is that they have already been working on it. You see that in the past, the working card in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And
Who's been working on what, Barbara?
the vigilantes.
These vigilante groups working on it
Yeah.
already? Okay.
The vigilantes or different groups, and they could, you know, low key be part of the white hats and just say that they're vigilantes. But whoever they are, they've already been working there. That's probably why we've seen a lot less than other times right now. That's probably why the skies is turning blue, because they're stopping these people in their tracks.
That, and they may also be out of money. That's why the Seven of Pentacles could be in the bass too.
Mm-hmm. Could be. Could be. And the Four of Swords is they're doing on low key. They're low key doing it. But that Seven of Swords with the strategy they've already been kind of doing it without saying or being noticed or publicizing it. In fact, they're being very careful and very pragmatic with it due to the Knight of Pentacles. But they've been stopping them in their tracks. Ten of Swords, the Eight of Wands, there's many of them. I mean, it's probably saturated with the whole, how many pilots and people that have been doing this. And I hear they get paid very much.
And all
What'd you
over the
say,
world.
Kaila?
And all over the world as well.
All over the world.
As you said, it's happening.
And if you look really good at that Eight of Wands, that looks like the chemtrails going through the air, you know, with the blue skies and but that could also be read as what those chemtrails are doing to people. The effect that it has on the people, that Ten of Swords, or on people, on your system, or what it does when it gets in your body. How would you read the King of Wands and the Two of Swords and the Page of Cups?
I would say the Page of Cups, soft yes again, as you said. The Two of Swords sort of gives me like we're at a crossroad. It's not a direct yes, it's like a soft yes, as you said. So I think I agree with your reading. And it's interesting, we have the King of Wands. So I think, like we were saying before, I think the good guys or whoever is working in the background to change things have sort of taken over and they're trying to change things over. So that's what I'm getting with the Ten of Swords, is like surrendering to an ending. Something's ending here. And there's a lot of attention being drawn to it, going slowly and carefully with the Knight of Pentacles. And I love how you said doing it undercover with the Four of Swords, and then below the Eight of Wands. It's like they're doing it, but they're not. You know, there's a lot of unknown information. They're doing it in secret, and so on. So I do get a soft yes. We don't have like really bad cards here to say that yes, it's going to be something outright and it's really going to be horrible, whatever they're going to be doing. But I do get like a soft takeover of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Lynn?
And the going back to the Eight of Wands, like Barbara was saying, how it looks like the chemtrails, but it's going outside of the reading. So to me, it tells me like that's like the end of them as well. They're no longer harming people. If it had been where the Ten of Swords was, I might think more chemtrails were still going to be bleeding into us a little bit more. Yeah, definitely. I think they're strategically going slow at how the vigilantes and how they go about doing this. And yeah, obviously they've tried to keep it hidden with the Four of Swords, but it leaked out. I don't know if Cliff was finding it through his WebBot data. I'm not sure. So
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know because Uncle Cliff seems to know a lot. And there are no major arcana, so I agree with you, Kyla, when you said that a soft takeover, a soft cease, a soft cease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's good news. It's been going on for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and some people have taken it to laboratories and they've seen certain type of inorganic metals
yeah.
and
Yeah,
other things.
aluminum and oh gosh, there's a few
Barium.
of them that they like. The barium, yeah. Do you want
Yeah.
to pull two clarifiers, Barbara, and ask if we're going to hear about any of this, we'll call it vigilantism in the news?
So that would be a yes or no question almost, right?
Kind of more or less, yeah.
Ooh. Oh boy. I got
Devil.
El Diablo
Mm-hmm.
and I get second major arcana.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So I get two major arcana. So usually when you ask the question, major arcana is usually a yes. So I think what's basically going to come out is more than what the vigilantes have done.
Yeah.
It's going to come out about what they've been spraying and what they've been doing. And they could always make excuses and say, hey, look, we thought it was something good. We thought it was something.
Well, they're
that was,
gonna try that, of course.
Yeah, they're going to try to redact it and say, we thought it was something good, or maybe it was switched around and we didn't know, or the pilots could say, but there's some ugliness that's going to come out. Ugly. That's ugly. These two together.
Mm-hmm. Two of the worst cards you can probably get, right?
Two of the worst cards you can get. So it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's got to get ugly, unfortunately, before it gets any better. Because how else is it going to come out? Yeah.
A lot of times you have to hit rock bottom before you come up.
Yeah, exactly.
So like there's a book called Only the Strong Will Survive, or the strongest survivals, or something like that. And that's why we have to start building up our courage and building up our intuition and our strength. Can you hear that noise?
Your refrigerator going. Is your refrigerator running away?
We fixed it a little bit. We have to get a new one. But so if you all want to see me get a new refrigerator, just comment down below. I'll be getting one hopefully soon. But that's what we get with these chemtrails, and we'd like for everybody to pay attention and get strong, get your system up, get your strength up, get your intuition up, open up your mind, start thinking on your own. And
get yourself healthy. Get yourself healthy to battle it. Yeah.
Take out your magnifying glasses and do some research for yourself.
There it is.
There you go.
I still have to get me one.
All right. Okay.
You're just so intuitive. You don't need that fine print, Kaila.
That's why I have my two sisters,
That's why we're here. So, and that's what we get. So we'd like to thank you all for watching our video. And I think Kaila and Lynn is going to tell you where we can be found.
Kaila can do it.
Okay, so we are on Facebook. We have a nice community there. Please be sure to join us. We're also on Rumble. We will be having a new health series coming up, and some of our shows will only go across there, so be sure to join us there as well. And remember, we will never contact you first for readings or any money or anything of that sort first. So please use your intuition and be careful of scammers. Thank you
Bye,
so much
everybody.
for watching.
Bye.
See you again.